Good evening from Hong Kong. Alright, I have gone and put back in the 6 individual circuit board with switches and 1 potentiometer. And the potentiometer is 100K. And I have just this timing light. Again, it's still the large LED, but I've got a bracket for it. It's running off of this trigger, so trigger run, trigger run, trigger run, trigger run, and a trigger and a run. And this is number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 coils hooked up with the switches going in a clockwise position. So my run battery is at 12.16 right now. So I'm just going on the run to see what power I'm going to use. So let's flip on one switch and give it a twitch. And it takes right off. It's just one. So my power jumps down to 11, 6, 8, 6, 7, 6, 5, 6, 4 as it gets up to speed. And I seem to have a pretty high consumption of milliamps. So let's fire up number 2. So we're down to 12 or 11.48, staying kind of steady. I'm at 8 milliamps, and I don't know if you can see that, but I can, my little gap. So I'm going to speed it up. There we go. The light actually dims. The light dims when it goes to where instead of having all those different stripes, kind of vanishes. But I've got a lot of power use. So let's turn on third switch. That kind of stays about the same. That's 9.5, and I'm at 11.36, and it's hard to see, you can't probably see that in the recording, but let me try to turn this down. So I'm at, yeah, it's about 7. Yeah. And now that's just with 3 circuits on. The potentiometer, a little warm. Transistors are all really cold. So, it's running pretty good. So 11.48 and running at just over 700 milliamps. So let's flip the 4th one. Amp draw went up a little bit, but now my current draw, voltage draw, is not changing that much. Seems to be running about the same. And so let's get number 5 on. So that's the 5th coil. So all 5 coils are going, and got really, really good RPMs. Really good torque, insane amount of torque. But my draw in milliamps still kind of stays around 700 to get that position. But what was really kind of weird is I wanted to try is now that I've got it running and it's all up to RPM, but again remember this trolley wheel has standard bearing grease in it, so it's not freewheeling like a hard drive bearing is. If I switch these down, so now I just have 1 coil on, and my amp draw kind of goes back down once it's up to RPM, and my voltage pretty much stays around the same. 11.48 is not doing much. got to hook up the second meter to my charge so we can see both of those at the same time. But I'm over 600 RPM or 600 milliamps. Now there's two. There's the one that just kind of disappears. So, and it's still, when I go and adjust it, it kind of sucks up some power. It doesn't seem to be dropping down that much, but again, I'm only on one coil. But I've got a high milliamp draw, but the volts aren't dropping. So I need to study up on that. But now, go back on and put all 6. Do that timing thing. So now I'm at 11.4, running at 700. And I can hear the RPMs pick up just a little bit. But I love the RPMs, and I love the torque that's on it. I'm not really sure of the milliamp draw, though. It's higher than it was before by having 4 trigger coils, or 5 trigger coils and 5 run coils. So maybe I need to go and do what SD has been doing. Try that as well. But my voltage isn't dropping. Well, it is dropping, but not drastically. So, well, that's what's going on in my world, gentlemen. All right, have a good evening.